Hello, it's 7:52 a.m. on the 21st of January 2025, and can't sleep. Been up for 2 days now, I think. And so decided why not have another game of chess. So let's have a look. Oh, who's this? This is from Qatar. I don't know how to pronounce it, I do apologise. So they're starting off with the queen pawn. So they're probably going to, thinking maybe they're going to free the white bishop in order to do the queen bishop thingy. I don't know exactly how that's done. I've been caught with it a few times. There we go. So I've got to go ahead and, what did I do with this? Pull this over here and do that. So let's go ahead and, in fact, that's going to be there. So how do I protect that square? I'm going to go ahead and pull the bishop out to do that. And then you're going to push this over here somewhere. So I'm going to cover that square so I can go ahead and do that with this pawn. Oh, okay, so what's that do? So you're wanting to... Well, I'll just go ahead and stop the threat. So you're wanting that square instead. Okay, so you can do that. So move the queen to c2, and then, okay, then I'll put the bishop still there, so that's good. Let's see what you're doing next. And if they take the pawn, they've lost it, but then they've kind of freed up that to an extent. But if I take the pawn, oh, you just moved it forward, there we go. Interesting. Now what? I'm going to protect this here. So I'm going to bring my knight out. Okay. So something I'm going to try and do for remember. When it starts getting exciting, I want to make a mark. I want to make a note of the time. There we go. So that's protecting that. Also, I think it's not protecting anything. I think it's coming in for the attack somehow. So if you go there, then you're attacking the bishop. Okay. If I go here, and then go here, I'm attacking the queen, but I'm also being threatened there. If I go here, we're gone. Go here, we're gone. Interesting. So if I go here, nothing. If I go, well, I can't bring this out anywhere, can I? No. Ah, bollocks, no, really. Alright, let's go ahead and do this then. No. Because, okay, so you're covering that square. So if you pull this down to there, then... If you pull this down to there, then you're threatening my bishop. But the only thing that I'll be threatening it with is a pawn. But then again, if I move this here... And then, no, bollocks. Yeah, you can still threaten my bishop, can't you? And there's nothing I can do about that, bollocks. Okay, so you can do that, and you're threatening my bishop. And if you take my bishop, it's gone. But there's nothing there to protect it, bollocks. Okay, so let's see what you do next then. I'm pretty fluffy headed today, I don't know what's going on. And they're probably looking at me and thinking, what the hell are you doing? So, how do you pronounce it? Qatar. So pronounce Qatar. And put minus AI because I want to. Qatar. Okay, is there a Okay, I can't even pronounce, can I? Qatar. And, okay, let's see what this says. Oh, God, no. So I'm just about adverts and stuff. Okay, and that's going to take forever to load. And it's going to be an advert. Okay, good stuff. Right, so you threatened my bishop. Right, I thought you'd do that. And there's nothing I can do to get out of that. Right, yeah, so you're going to take my bishop and I'm going to take your knight. Okay. Bollocks. But also, what else can you do? That's gone. That's gone. That's gone. So you're just going to take my bishop. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Oh, well, I'll just threaten a pawn then. Go and take my bishop then. Go and take it. But then what I can do, if you take my bishop with that, I can take it with this, which kind of frees this area, because I'm kind of basically blocked myself in. Okay. And really, this bishop is covered by the queen, the king, and 2 knights. So there's absolutely nothing they can do to do anything. For instance, if they bring in the bishop here, it's covered by, and if they bring the knight into here, it's covered by the bishop and the knight as well. So the only thing I'm thinking they're doing is but I've got to get that. I want to get that knight out of the way. Okay, so the thing is, okay, so what I can do. There's nothing I can do. I mean, so the thing is, I can't move the bishop, because if I move the bishop, no, that'd be cool. Because if I move the bishop and they take the pawn at c6 with a knight, I can take it with my knight, so that's covered. Because then the only thing I can either do is cover my castle and pawn. Either that or threaten the white bishop, and the white bishop has nothing. Oh, yeah, has a knight covering it. But then you can bring the knight in to take that pawn, which then threatens the there you go, good stuff. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in this guy, which then I've got I've got a piece, I've got 2 pieces, 3 pieces. The queen and the 2 knights are guarding this pawn, and also I've got a knight guarding that pawn as well. So if, for instance, I take that pawn and they take that pawn back, I can go ahead and clear it with a knight. And really what I want to do is get rid of that wall of knights on the black squares, the diagonals. Okay, so now you're coming in with that knight to attack. So, okay. I'm trying to think, what can you do with that? Okay, you're probably going to use that to cover this square. So but then again, so I'm going to take it with the what they called. Now what else? I want to be able to cover that one. So if you take that, I want to be able to cover that. So how can I do that then? Could you just... Oh, you resigned. Why did you resign? Wow, that's crazy. Probably just had enough. Okay, so time in Qatar. Time NQATAR. Is that how you pronounce it? I can't. Is it QATAR? 4 in the evening, so it's not as if It's like in the middle of the whatever. That's crazy. I'm going to say you're a good sport and I'm going to say good game, but from what I understand, once the game is finished, they don't get any of this messages. Huh. I wonder why they quit. They probably just had enough. I'm not going to. If anyone watches this, which is probably highly unlikely because I'm only doing this for myself, no one else, what, other than just boredom, maybe having to get back to work or something, why would anyone quit at this level? Because, I mean, there's nothing really much you could have. I mean, that piece was there anyway. So it's not as if, for instance, if there were this by me moving that piece, there wasn't anything an additional threat added. And again, I'd have had to do something. I could move my queen to here to cover that pawn. Then you take that the pawn, I take it with the queen. You just take my queen straight away because there's nothing covering it. And in order to, I would have had to move that up, and that'd be covered by that. Okay, I could have done that, and that's covered already. Yep. So what? So there you go. There's me overanalyzing stuff and whatever. So it's what? How many thousands of years? This is an 11-minute thingy. Okay, so what software do I have on my computer that I'm using? Well, I have OBS Studio, so OBS Studio. This is the one that I'm messing around with at the moment. Presumably it's free. It's open source. Okay, and see if I can open it. And it's pretty good for what it's doing. I don't know. Okay, there we go. Let's have a look here. It's probably my computer, but okay, so there we go. Open broadcast, but do your own research first. But it allows you to. This is the preview screen, I think. No, computer's lagging, but it allows you to do that. It gives you a lot. You can streaming, recording, which is one of the rest of the computer. And this is where I'm where it says you and but this is good. Another thing that I use, which is free and I've used for a long time, is Audacity. Okay, I'll do that. I'm going to close the desktop. Maybe that's again my computer lagged right now. There we go. Oh, I could do my cursor there. Moving. Okay, at 30 frames 60. There's a which I was trying to think that was about that. And there's an evaluation. The first three. Maybe you have a DS6 suite. With that one. If they made it a subscription, and then since they've added all that AI stuff, it's become very. It's basically gone beyond what it can do, and there's so much stuff that's free, that does a much better job. And what happened, from what I understand, is Adobe, I think, started off with Photoshop, and then what they did is they started buying other people's stuff out, and I think they both. What was that one I just mentioned? I had. Yes, happens after the incident. I just forget stuff after I said it. whatever audio program I was using. Anyway, I think Adobe bought that out, and they just basically kept doing that. They kept buying other people's material, and what happened is stuff you have, instead of becoming simplistic. For instance, this one's simplistic. If it gives me okay, Audacity. Here we go. Give me a version of a screen. It doesn't. Okay, so Audacity, anyways, is really, really good. Maybe you'll be able to see it from the top here. There we go. It's basic, very, very simple. You've got menu across the top, and it's very, very simplistic. You've got file. For instance, you want to add a new track, you just go to track, and then it gives you a drop down. You can say new mono track, new stereo track, and it keeps adding down here. And then you can mute these. You can record. You can, basically where that's blue there, that means that track's highlighted. So you can add effects to there or record or whatever like that. And then you've got a cutting tool, for instance. If you want to cut here and get rid of this, cut that, and then just double click on that. That highlights this area, and then Control X. It's very, very simplistic of what you can do. But there are effects you can add to this. There's a lot of it has a lot of capability, but it's very easy to use. Whereas with Adobe Audition, it's very difficult. There's a lot of stuff to do something simple, and it's not intuitive. You think you go to something. I haven't used it forever. You think you go to da 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 to do something, but you have to go da 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 to open da 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 to open do something. But anyway, I recommend Audacity. I've been using this for years. It's not done me wrong, and I'll upgrade. I'll put different installations on different computers, and absolutely nothing. It's never treat me wrong. It's really, really cool. So they're the two programs. Did I say two programs? I've forgotten. OBS is the one I'm using. I'm just trying out now. Audacity I've used for years. Photoshop I go for the CS6 suite if you can. I actually was very lucky because the suite that I got this time round I got on eBay for dirt cheap, and that was when Adobe was pushing the new subscription with ADI bells and whistles, AI bells and whistles. And so what happened is a lot of people got rid of their discs, especially after people aren't using discs anymore, and they threw it all on eBay for, I think it cost me $35 for the entire suite. So I've got Photoshop, Premiere, Audition, After Effects, Bridge, which I don't use, and a bunch of other stuff as well. Now another thing that I did have, somebody showed this to me for a long time, and they actually put it on my computer, on the XP computer that I was talking about. I don't know if I was talking about on this one or earlier on. It's Fruity Loops, but it's actually now called FL Studio. Because what happened was, from what I was told, FL Studio used to be called Fruity Loops, but then the cereal manufacturer said that was too close to their... I'm not going to go any further, because although I don't like cookies, and except for cookie hair, whatever. So FL Studio, it used to be called Fruity Loops, but then they went to court about it, so they changed it to FL Studio. And it used to be a drum machine more than anything else. And then they just kept adding bits to it. And then what the users thought this was amazing. Bollocks, I'll just say, except all cookies. I hate it. But they used to... the users, kind of basically kept... They found basic, like, everything. When you get, like, what they call it now, a new tool, people find great ways of to innovate it. And so some manufacturers, I think the Xbox did this. They had, I think it was with their camera, they brought up some peripheral, and people I forgot the words, not bricked, the other opposite. They basically got into the software and hacked it. Well, not really hacked it, but use it in a innovative kind of way. And Microsoft didn't like that, so they said poo bar, so they kind of started closing stuff down. Whereas again, this is from what I've been told. And so FL Studio and its Fruity Loops, people started doing the same thing with it, as in doing innovative things with it. And Fruity Loops jumped on board and said, okay. And so this is basically what you're looking. This is the kind of the beginning screen. And so again, it was on my computer, and then it's really good because you can buy sections of it. I know it's about $100 a go, but if you save your pennies up, you can try it for free, and then you can keep adding bits the more you want, more you wish. And again, down here is basically all your instruments and loops and other stuff, and you can create your own loops and save them into a folder. And then this is these are your tracks, but you have other things as well. The piano roll, basically it'll have a little piano keyboard down here, and you can also change it to actual notages. So it looks like so it'll have A, B, C, D, F, G, blah. But you can individually map stuff if you want, and then it has that's all it's going to show me. And again, I don't know how to. Oh, there's a piano roll. This is what piano rolls looks like down here, and they're all separate windows. They're all separate boxes, so you can actually pick that up and drag it over if you wish. But here you can map each, and you can make them longer. You can make them shorter. You can make it even shorter and that kind of stuff. And blah blah blah. And it's really, really cool. And as I say, let's have a look here. What kind of FL Studio overview, compare editions. There we go. And look, lifetime free updates. And not only that, but once you've installed it on one computer, it gives you a kind of a key. And you can use that key to install it on any computer. And I have this on this laptop, but I also have it on my MacBook as well. Under the same installation code, it didn't cost me any extra. But what you can do is you can say start off at $99, and then you buy Fruity, right? And then you mess around with it. If you like it, then you go okay. Then you can upgrade. And I think this is where I am at the moment. And it'll cost you like an extra $79 if I remember rightly. Because it's not going to charge you $179 after you've got the Fruity. It just does the difference, and then add a couple, like another $100, and you can go to Signature. Another couple of $100 goes to everything, and so that's really nice because instead of having to, my goodness, where am I going to get $449 from? You just keep adding a little bit when you can afford it, and there we go. What have I got now? It doesn't tell me. Okay, well, it doesn't tell me, but anyway, so there you go. And you can sign in. You have to basically blah blah blah. You can sign in, and you can try it for free if you want as well. Trying for free means that you can use all. Basically, I think you can use most, if not all, of what they have available. You get the idea of it. You just can't save it. But that's where, let's say, something like Audacity comes in, because once you've created your song, you can open up something like Audacity and just record it. So press play on FL Studio, record it off Audacity, and you got your song, if you want to do that. But again, they're good people, because, as I say, they've been going forever, and they're still they improve. Then they haven't. I mean, I may be wrong, but from my understanding and using it, they haven't got all ego-ficated about it, and they basically realised that this is a tool for people to use as opposed to something for making money and stuff. And so if there's the version I've got now, if they upgrade it, then I can just install the upgrade. As I say, if I want to install this on any computer that I own, I'll go ahead and do it with no restrictions. It's very, very good people, in my opinion anyway. And then you can buy extra plugins and presets. So let's have a look here. All these different machines. You know what I mean? That you can play with and stuff like that. And $69. There's like Flex is free example. It's a preset bass synthesizer driven on advanced synthesis engine. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, again, it's still. I used to play with this when it was FL Studio, when it's Fruity Loops, and now I'm on. I'm using it as FL Studio. So again, it's advanced a lot since I was messing around on with XP. But it's something I highly recommend. It's intuitive, and it's also very. You can do something really simplistic, like playing chopsticks if you want on a piano, or toccata and fugue on an organ, stuff like that. I thought you can do something advanced like these machines. You can change the FLO and the ADSL, the attack, decay, sustain, release, that kind of stuff. Blah 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 blah. It's really cool. I mean, all these different things you can play with, and again, it looks like they're standard around thing is $69. So that's a lot of money, and But as I say, it's the way I think about it. Is if you want to do something, then just save a little bit, because it's like start off with a free one, and then look, lifetime free updates. If you start off with a free one, if you like it, then start saving a bit, money. Okay, there we go. This is the thingies. Okay, so you've got FL Cloud, free user access, don't know what those. Oh, they're cloud things. I don't like cloud things, that's just me. Audio editor 0. You've got 84 instruments, and it's giving you values of plugins. Audio recording, it doesn't let you do that on the thingy, as I was saying already, but once you've made your setup, once you've made your piece, you can get, like, for instance, Audacity recorded from that. And then you've got Audio Clips 8, that's just preset ones, and then playlist features partial. MIDI support scripting, yes. Content is included. Lifetime free updates is included on all of them. So you play around with that one, and then use your Audacity for a bit if you want, and get your songs going. And once you've got the hang of it and you like it, and then you just keep saving. To say it isn't $99, then $179. It's $99, and then I don't know what the balance will be, but find out for yourself, please, because this was a while ago. Because when I had enough money to upgrade, it was like, oh, hang on, I can upgrade it. It cost me less than I thought it would do. And and then just once you've got that going, then this one gives you. Let me go ahead and. No one's going to watch this, so I'm just doing this for myself, but. Like that, then you can freeze it if you want, if anyone watches it, and then you can see all the differences of what you got. Bloom, bloom, bloom. You know what I mean? Oh, and then we've got audio additions, audio editors, and I don't even think I've touched any of those. And then we've got all the instruments you can play with. 3X oscillator, OSC rather. That's like a basic machine, like a Moog. Also going to forget bass drum, beat map. Again, I haven't touched on that. Boo bass is just like a bass guitar. But anyway, I'm just going to do this, and you can mess around with it. Drum pad to drum pad. And I've got all this sort of stuff. Okay. And it tells you what you can use, what's available, what have you. And then just keep going. And then, if you like it, keep going. And again, you can install this on any computer, no extra cost. Windows and Mac. So, for instance, the first computer I put this on was a Windows computer, and it had a disk card drive on it that broke, and then I was kind of lost. And then I got this thing because I needed a computer really cheap, which is a Lenovo IdeaPad 5, which I don't recommend. And went to install it, and it was free. And then when I was in hospital, the only thing I had was my MacBook Pro, and I thought, yeah. And so, but I went to the site and installed it for free. And look at all the stuff you can do. And just so when I was in hospital as well, I just had the basic one, and I just thought nah. And it's because I was in hospital, I didn't saving money on food and bills and stuff. So I went up to upgrade to the producer edition, and it was, I think it was only $69, and I thought it was going to be $179, but it was the balance. I think I said that already. And so that's what they do. So if I was going to go up to the signature, that'd be an extra like $100 or something. I can't afford that. But I have a little jar, and every time I got a little bit loose change, I throw it in there, and then add it up. And like when I've got like another $100, which will probably be about 25, 35 years, then I'll go ahead and upgrade to the signature. And then probably will never get to this one. Let's have a look what it does for me that the others don't. I mean, instruments and effects. But the thing is, with this, you can get your own sound bites. You can get like WAV files, or make your own. Make your own. Like, for instance, if you've got a guitar and you play guitar, you can play like a chord, record it, say on Audacity, save it as a WAV file, and then save it into. You can even create your own folder. For instance, overview. Where are we going? Like the overview here. So this is another thing you have. So what you can do, these are your instruments. So you load it, what instruments you want to hear, and what they've done here is these are just on-off beats. So this is like doosh 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 doosh, and so doosh 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 doosh, that kind of stuff. So that's what that does. And it's an instrument, it'll just play the same note. So we dum 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 kind of scenario. And then we have, I don't know what this is about. Oh, this is the pattern. So what you can do is you can create a pattern. You can go to, where we go. It's not doing me. This is just all that. There we go. So this is the dub thing. You know what I mean? Where you just whatever. And then this is a pattern. So what you can do is you can go to piano roll, which I think I showed already. Which makes you you can click it like that kind of scenario. So these are different notes, so you can do it that way. And then once you create that, you can save it as a pattern, and then go to here and paste it as a pattern. And so you can get different thingies and stuff. And then over here you've got pattern, so you can say highlight kick if you wish, and then just click it on pattern. The only thing it'll play is this, or if you made something musical, whatever, musical, blah blah blah, and then this wise you can mess around with it, alter it, and that kind of stuff. Where's it going with this? I've forgotten. Oh yes, so once you've got your pattern set up like this, and then you can hit song and it'll play the entire thing, then what you can do is open Audacity, as I was saying already, and then record your song and then save it. I think I'm talking around loops because I think I have mentioned all this already. That's what happened after the incident. I can't have a proper conversation anymore. I just kind of ramble. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this, recording the videos more for myself than anything else. I'm doing chess and crossword puzzles and backgammon and that kind of stuff to kind of get my brain to where it was again. Because with chess, when you're playing chess, you've got to be able to think ahead. And it's not. This is when I first started. I was told you think ahead, so you think moves in advance. And I thought it was you've got to have a plan. So I've got to move this pawn, this bishop, this knight, this other. But then I found out if you do it like that, 15,000 moves in advance, as you have one single route that you're trying to, and then the opponent plays a piece that's not in your pattern of routes, then what will happen is it will ruin your entire idea. And so, okay, they've got to move this pawn. Oh, they didn't move that pawn. Then I've got to start again from scratch. And then somebody told me the best thing to do, in their opinion, and again, I'm not a chess I mean, dude, I'm level 3 out of 8, so I'm nothing any good at all. But something that somebody told me that kind of helped was one good thing to do is to wait until your opponent's made a move and then see what you can do in response to that move. And so that's what I kind of do. But as I say, I used to be able to uh, come up with different ideas or different, they moved that, so if I move this or that other, countless times. But now I don't really have that capability, and I want to get it back because I believe that your brain is like any muscle of your body. That if it's not exercised, it becomes kind of, less useless, more useless, less useful. But again, I've got all this stuff going on. My brain's foggy. I find it hard to think. I ramble now. I'll talk, and then not that I'll forget what I'm saying, but it was as if, hang on, oh, I'm still talking, and then I'll forget where I'm going, and for instance, I'll be talking about something, and I'll forget what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, and stuff. And I've got this stupid speech impediment now, and it's not really a speech impediment. It's not like I can't say certain vowels or words. It's just once in a while, my brain will say certain word, say vegetable. I know my mouth can't say vegetable. I mean, not saying vegetable. I'm just using it as an example. But and so and so I'm trying to. Again, that's why I'm recording this just for myself, so I can watch it back, because I forget stuff. And so I'll, somebody would even say, "Oh, do you remember the other day when da 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 da? It was so funny, or it was so interesting." I don't remember, and it's scary. But I've had MRIs and CTIs or whatever you call CAT scans or whatever. Sorry, and they don't really they haven't found anything that would cause that inside my brain. But there was the incident that happened. That was in hospital, and it was crazy. I'm kind of writing that down. I'm kind of putting it into a book, and it was just like a switch was thrown before I went to hospital. None of this, and then while I was in the hospital, all of this, and it's not going away. It's been like a year, almost 2 years now, and so I went in there physically able. I actually had sepsis, is what they told me I had, and which is just basically blood poisoning, from what I understand. But they can't find any cause for it. And it should have been. I should have been there for about a week, but they have been there for months, and they had me all drugged up and stuff. And then they had to put me in a recovery. They had to put me in a recovery facility. For by the time they finished with me, I was atrophied. My whole body was a bag of jelly, and my brain was messed up. And I'm getting out of a wheelchair now. And the thing is, before that, I was walking, I was cycling, all this kind of stuff. But now, long distances, like I can't even get to the end of my street, which is kind of at 3 or 4 blocks. I can't even get to the end of the block, to tell the truth. And so I'm basically stuck in a wheelchair, but I'm getting out of the wheelchair. I'm been using a walking frame, but I'm kind of getting out of that, forcing myself to do that, which is kind of scary because I'm like a toddler learning how to walk, and there's times I'm almost falling over. But I've joined a gym, Planet Fitness, and there's some that are 24 hours because it's again, it hurts. I mean, complete and utter pain all the time, and it hurts, and pain is again. This is trying to be analytic about the whole thing, and if anyone watches this, I hope it's helpful for them. But pain, again, the good thing is it's an on-off thing, because before I went into hospital, none of this, and then and it was like a switch was flicked, and now all of this, which means that I've got a 100% comparison. It's not like something progressive, like I was getting iller, I was getting in more pain along the way, It was just like an on-off switch, which means I've got a 100% comparison between the two scenarios. And so from that, I can pull out hypotheses, theorems, what you want to bloody call them, synopses, or what, I don't know what the words are. And for one thing, pain, it stops you from doing stuff. And it's like, even standing up, I mean, even just laying down, even I have what the doctor calls chronic pain syndrome. They don't know where it's from. A friend of mine suggested that something that they did to me in the hospital shocked my system so much that it's some, and I don't want to say this because it sounds like I'm being a hypochondriac, but they said that I might have something similar to PTSD. And I don't want to say that because there's people that have gone to war and stuff like that, and that's PTSD. When you've seen your friend getting the head blown off, or you're in the middle of a foxhole somewhere surrounded by explosions and stuff. I mean, that I just went to hospital and they did stuff to me and I ended up in the States. So I don't want to compare myself to that because I think that's terrible. A terrible thing to, you know, but that's their suggestion. I've got something similar, you know, comparative to PTSD, they think. So I've got to make a phone call today. But I don't want to because it's not that I don't want to get better, because I do, but I don't want to be a hypochondriac. I don't want to be, oh, I'm going to call it, you know, I think I've got PTSD 2 years, so I'm going to call a therapist or a psychologist or something like that, so I can, because to me that's like, dude, I'm still alive, and I'm getting stronger as like when I go to the gym, I don't, I've gone from wheelchair to walker to not using the walker. It hurts, and dude, I can do cardio on one of those sitting down bicycle things, but not even the bicycle thing because that hurts. It's the paddly thing where you sit down and you basically it's like one of those standing up paddly machines, but you sat down. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called, but one of those things anyway. Like what do they call those bicycles where you sit down? Not elliptical. What the heck? Are you elliptical maybe? Something? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so do that for my cardio, and then I'm doing things like bench pressing and stuff. But I can't do a treadmill. I can do it for about 15 seconds, and then I'm in complete and absolute agony. And I'm trying to exercise my core. I'm trying to get my body back to where it should be. Yeah. So maybe it's my GPU, because maybe I'm lagging. Maybe that's what it is. And I forgot what I was talking about. Pain. There you go. That's the thing. And so the thing is, pain it stops you from doing stuff. And two things. Pain stops you from doing stuff. Thinking about pain. For instance, my cat's an outdoor cat, and he went out a couple of days ago, and I haven't seen him since. I've seen him once in a while. I've got like a camera outside my front door, and I've seen him, but by the time I get downstairs, he's disappeared again. So he's still alive. I wish he'd stay. And if he was in angst, he would hang around my front door because he's done that before. And it's cold. It's the middle of January now, so that's what I'm worried about. That he may be freezing to death. But he'll walk. You know, I'll see him, and he saunters up to the door. So he's not like shivering or anything, and he just stretches. And so it's not that he's you know, starving and freezing and stuff. So hopefully somebody else is looking after him as well. But the thing is, by the time I get downstairs, he's gone again. And the thing is, if he was desperate, he would hang out by the front door until I got down there. Anyway, beside the point. But getting up and moving, I'll put it off. You know, and it's because of the pain. It's not because I don't want to do anything. It's that when I do something, it hurts. But sometimes what happens is I go like, oh, I can't do this because it's going to hurt. And then when I actually do it, it hurts less than I thought it would do. And so that's something about pain. It tends to, the thought of what the pain's going to be can sometimes uh, inflame itself, extend itself, over exaggerate, if you wish, itself to what it's actually going to be. So you think, oh my God, this is going to be the worst thing ever. And then it's like, yeah, it's bad, but not as bad as I thought. So I don't know where that must have been something from instinct, something, because if you're back to being Neanderthal or whatever it was, blah, and you've injured something, um, say you broke a bone, by moving you may make the bone worse, but by laying still, it gives a chance for the bone to recover. So if you move a little bit and it hurts a bit, then you go, oh, hang on, if I move more, it's going to hurt more. So maybe it's like a natural instinct saying, if something hurts, then it's going to hurt worse. And sometimes I'll remember, oh, the last time I did this, it hurt, but blow it out of proportion, as in, it hurt terribly when it didn't hurt as much as it did do, if that makes sense. God. Anyway, so that's why I'm doing these videos kind of stuff. And again, I hope nobody watches this, because this is more for me to watch later. If somebody does watch this and they find it helpful, then okay, well and good. But I just want to get back to where I was, because there's stuff I need to do, and I need to be physically healthy in order to do that. And another thing is that I've always been helpful for people, and it's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me to be needing help. But also, there's people out there who I've helped and who are suddenly, oh, I'm busy. And it's like, no, you're not, you just can't be bothered. And it makes me feel, am I a terrible person because of that? And it makes you think in the past, and make me anyway, and I rethink things. It's like, okay, this situation happened. Was it as I thought it was at the time? Or, for instance, like, was I invited to a certain function? Or was it obligatory that they had to invite me? Or did I walk on into something? Let's say I walk into a room and say, hey, I'm having a shindig at my house. And then I walk into oh, really, when? And it's, oh my God. The only reason they'd said they were going to invite people to the shindig is because I wasn't in the room. But as they were inviting people in, I happened to walk into the room. So they felt obligated to actually invite me. So it's all this stuff that's running through my head at the moment, which is crazy. And that's what you get when you're not doing anything. Your mind starts doing stuff. And I'm a generally positive person. And I keep trying to, be positive about stuff. But again, there's a bunch of stuff that I would like help with, but there's nobody out there to help me. And I understand I'm not anyone's responsibility, and it's not their not fault. It's not their responsibility. There you go, to help me. But it'd be nice to be able to, because I can't do it myself right now. There's a bunch of stuff, just like a few boxes need moving. I want to get like downstairs emptied, because shortly before the incident, I emptied a storage unit of my own because the rent had gone up from like $35 up to about $400 a month, and I couldn't afford that. And also, to me, that was a lot of money just to keep boxes in a place where I could just keep them at home. And then shortly after doing that, the incident happened. So I've got a bunch of boxes downstairs, and I want to move all the boxes upstairs out into one room, because another thing I want to do is I want to move eventually, move location, and I've acquired a lot of stuff, and I've not acquired junk. It's not like I'm a hoarder. It's just a bunch of stuff that really I need to minimalize. Like, I've got a bunch of DVDs and VHSs that are great, and books as well, but I think it's about time they find a new home, and I'm not going to throw them away or give them to charity, because especially with the VHSs, they'll be treated like junk. But there's some like Fantastic Planet. If you get the chance to see Fantastic Planet, it's a really great movie in my opinion, and I think it was made in Czechoslovakia,
translated into Polish, and then translated to English. And it has English. The version I've got has English subtitles, but also an English dub, as in the language spoken is in English as well. But the subtitles and the audio track are totally different, and which in itself is really cool. But it looks like it's animated, and it is looked like it's been done with sketch pencils, so not painted or anything. It looks like it's been hand drawn with sketch pencils. It's a really interesting movie, and the premise is human beings are about the size of ants, and they're treated as vermin or pets by these uh, massive creatures, the size of human beings will be to ants, as it were. And it's weird, but it's really really cool. So Fantastic Planet, I'd recommend you watching that. But I've got videos like that, and I'm into tangibility because with things like streaming services and clouds and that kind of stuff, anything can be cancelled. As you know, if you're watching something on streaming service, they come back the next week, it might not even be there to watch again. So if you've got a friend that's on holiday or something, and you say, "Oh, I'm watching so and so on so and so streaming service. Oh, I really want to watch that," and then you turn up and it's no longer there. It's no longer there, and so that's why I like the tangibility of having DVDs and CDs and vinyl and cassette tapes and that kind of stuff. But as I say, I've got about 650, 700 VHSs, and that takes up a lot of storage, and they also weigh a lot. And I've got about the same, if not more, in DVDs, and it's the same thing. And so, what I've got to do is minimalize everything because I want to move, and I've just got too much stuff. Not only that, but the more stuff you have, the less you value what you have. Because if you have, say, like 20 albums and 20 VHS tapes as an example, then you know what you've got and they become more valuable. But if you have 700 VHSs and if you've got them in a rack, like a shelf, then it's there. The whole thing is an icon you can look through. Whereas if you got it in a box, you don't know what you have anymore. You just have a box of VHSs and it loses its value. And the more stuff you have, the less you value. And again, that's why I like tangibility over all this other stuff, because you can have millions of tracks of music, but you don't know what you have. And that's the whole thing. When I was younger, it would be the whole thing. You'd hear something on the radio as an example, and you go, "Oh, what is that?" And then you'd find out it was, a track by so and so on so and so an album, and then you'd go down the record shop, and you'd look for that album, and then you'd see the track. Oh, that track, but you also see other stuff, and they also have like singles. So you'd have the track on one side, but then another track on the other. And some of these record shops allow you to actually play the record, and so you'll be able to listen to the track. Oh, I heard this. Then you flip it over and say, "Oh, wow, this is interesting." And then or the album, you listen to the track you want to, but then you listen to the other stuff, and get an understanding of what the band was about, as well as the cover, which would have art. It'd also have like the track names, but also might even have other stuff inside, like stuff to listen to read, and it give you more interest around that. And then you'd save your pocket money, and then you go out and buy that album, and then bring it home, and then it would become a ritual, and so you valued that thing. And although it would only be, I don't know, so half an hour or something, I've forgotten how much an album lasts, and it's like 50 minutes on either side or whatever it was, and you'd hear it over and over again. It become more of, instead of just listening to a track and saying I've got a million more to go through, you'd have that one album and you listen to it, and then each time you listen to it, you heard something different. Like like for instance, Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. Right at the end, if you listen to it, they'd be laughing, and then somebody would go fish as the word fish, as a high pitch, say fish, as the track was fading out. And it'd be little things like that. And you hear it once, you don't get that. You hear it over and over again, you hear all these little nuances and other stuff and stuff. It's fantastic. And, and so you have that tangibility. I think that's what's missing nowadays is there is no tangibility, and people are being discouraged from tangibility, and people are missing tangibility. And again, you lose the value from that, and you get, like for instance, photography. I used to be into photography when it was actual film, and you'd have 24 and 36 exposures usually, and you'd have to be very careful because you would get a roll of film and you'd have to find the ISO or ASA. You'd have to decide on that, which is the capability of the film to process light. So how sensitive it is to light. So the standard would be 100 ASA or ISO, and I think ISO is Europe and ASA is American. I forgot what it stands for. I think it's something standard something. And the 100 would be for Instamatic cameras. So you'd have a very small aperture, and anything that isn't outside in the middle of the day, you need a flash. And then the next one, the one I used to use was 400 ASA, which is, it would be, you could shoot indoor, outdoor, but with indoor, if you weren't using a flash, you'd have to have a very large aperture or long shutter speed or combination of the both. And that was it. You had your ISO or yes, ASA, whatever. You have your aperture, which is how big the iris was. And so basically, the larger the iris, the less light you need to get a true image on your film. But the less focal range you have. So if you see those photographs where, say, there's a photograph of a chess piece and everything else is blurred, that is because the aperture is huge. Because, and then, you can only focus on the chess piece and nothing else. And so that's what that was. And then you have the shutter speed, is how long the film is actually open to light. And with that, for instance, if you've seen something where you see somebody on a bicycle and they're in focus but everything else is blurred, they'd be using a long shutter speed. Because what happens is, things will move. So instead of getting like a ka-chunk, there's your image, it'll be like ka-chunk. And so anything that moves will be blurred in that image. And so basically, you'd have your sensitivity to light, how long the film is open to light, and how small or large your aperture is. And that's what you play with, and that was it. And now you've got all this white balance and color balance and all this other stuff. There's too much. And it's like, I've got a digital camera and I can know how to use it, but there's just too many options. And it's like, it's no longer a joy. It's, you have to set the machine up, 250 hours to get the machine set up just to take a photograph, as opposed to having 3 options. And with that restriction, having a better understanding of what you're trying to do, and that's why I'm kind of discouraged from using digital cameras nowadays. And that, again, I feel sorry for the people nowadays that haven't been offered that freedom, that limit to what you can actually do. And so having the capability or having this necessity to think outside the box, to see, I want this image. How can I do it? Nowadays, I want this image. You just look through the menu and find out, I want this image. You press that button, it's done. It's taken the soul away as far as I'm concerned. And the same with music. It's like the first computer I had was a Windows 3.1 and megabytes of everything, of like megabytes and megahertz of processing unit and all that kind of stuff, and blah 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 blah. And I found a program. It was called Sound Recorder, and it allowed you to record stuff, one track at a time, and I think it was mono. And after you've recorded it, you could reverse it, speed it up, slow it down, increase the volume, decrease the volume. I think that was it. And I made music with it. And what you'd have to say, you recorded something, say, hello, how are you doing? You record that. Then you have to save that as its own individual WAV file, and then put it in a folder. But in a folder that when you opened it, and then you'd have to, blah blah blah. And there was no like multi-track recording studio. What you'd have to do is play the track you wanted while you're recording the next track. So, if you want to say, hello, how are you doing, dum, 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 over the top of it, you'd have to record, hello, how are you doing, play that as you're recording that, as well as dum, 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 dum. And then you'll slow it down, speed it up, reverse it, and that kind of stuff. I think I did my best music just using Sound Recorder. But to do like a 2-minute piece would take 9 hours. And, but it's great, I loved it. And now you've got all this stuff where you just push a button and it does it for you. And like with Fruity Loops or FL Studio, with some of the machines they have, like Harmless is one of them, which has a huge bunch of presets. All you have to do really is set up a bunch of presets and have them run back, over the top of each other, record it, and now you can do the whole thing in 5 minutes, and it sounds amazing. And but again, with FL Studio, you still have the capability of just doing basic stuff if you want to do it. And I don't know where I was going with that, but tangibility, there we go. And so I really think what has to happen is, because what happened with like vinyl records is it got niched. If you have a vinyl record collection, you're going to be not a beatnik, what do they call it? Oh, come on, what do they call it? Beat something. Oh, what the hell do they call it? I've forgotten. Whatever it is, Uber beatnik, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's really going to annoy me because I can't remember that. Anyway, so it was niched. And so so instead of thinking I've got something that's tangible and I like it, it's suddenly you've some form of eclectic snob, who, and so everyone else is thinks they're just being nichist, in a niche or something, so they don't see that they're actually got some kind of tangibility stuff going on. And so, so they don't see it as, oh, wow, I'm interested in what you're doing. They just see, oh, just some dude that's spending thousands of dollars on a record player. It's not, that's not the way it is. So it kind of, they did the same thing with hippies, because hippies weren't all a bunch of drug-taking thingies. They were the youth who didn't want to be put in a box. They didn't want to work 9 to 5, in a office somewhere, and like the parents did, and the women didn't want to stay at home and cook food, and then have the husband come home and get drunk and beat him up and all that kind of stuff, or whatever extreme. They wanted something different, and that's what it was. And hippie actually stood for something happy, intelligent, something youth, HIPPY, and that's what it was. Happy, intelligent, something youth. And they were just intelligent people that wanted something different than the norm. And but then that became a threat to the norm. So then it got turned into a threat to the system, dissed by everyone, turned into seen as a bunch of degenerates, and then turned into fashion. And it's like the whole peace symbol, the circle with what looks like a Y front in the front of it, is actually from CND, or the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament. That's where it came from. That's what the sign is. And it's in what, the semaphore, I think it is, the flag thing. Like on the Help album by the Beatles, if they're holding flags out, that doesn't actually spell help, it spells something else. But this person that photographed it, when they spelt out help, they were like, that doesn't look very good. Do you want to put your flags here instead? So it doesn't actually spell help. That's just a side note or whatever. But the semaphore, CND. So it actually spelt CND in semaphore. But that got, again, that was against the norm. So CND's, and all they wanted was, I think it started off in England, was certain countries were saying, oh, okay. And then England was saying, hang on, what are you doing? So we're putting our nuclear weapons on your island. Yeah, but then you just made us a target. So if a war happens, up until now we weren't a target. And they're not even our weapons or your weapons. So you're putting your weapons on our country. You suddenly made into a target if your enemies, not our enemies, but if your enemies, see us as a threat, then we're going to get bombed. We don't want that. And so that's what CND was about. And that's where they made that thing that looks like a Y front. But now that's peace. And it's not peace. It's about nuclear disarmament. So, maybe I'm splitting hairs. But if you're going to be doing something, like, for instance, the other day I saw somebody wearing a Rush 2112 t-shirt. And I said, oh, here, Rush 2112, when they found the guitar in the... when he found the guitar in that cave and started playing, that was amazing, wasn't it? And he looked at me and said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, your t-shirt. Oh, yeah, I just bought it because it looked good. It's like, okay, well and good, but if you're going to buy something that's indicative of something like that, then at least do a little bit of research about it. Find out, if even in nowadays with, you don't have to look in books, you can just look in Google, Rush 2112, and it'll give you the whole thing about it as a rock opera made by Rush. About in the year 2112, when music was made illegal, or was illegal, and somebody went out into the forbidden zone, which is basically, they found out it was actually a natural forest. They went to a cave and they found a guitar, and it made them feel good. So they brought it back and said to the authorities, hey, look, I found this, it sounds amazing. And they said, oh, that's illegal, you go to prison. And, it was, if you get the chance to hear it, it's just an album. It's by Rush, that's the band. It's called 2112, and it is an amazing piece of music. And again, that's another thing. When you had to buy, if you were a band and you were dedicated, you were restricted to making an album. You had to make it interesting. You had to make somebody want to listen to it over and over again. Now, where you've got thousands of millions of tracks of music you can listen to, you just listen to it once. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying that, do you remember when music used to have a story and used to have melodies and choruses and that kind of stuff? And they said, yeah, and nowadays it's just the same monotonic thing. And it's like, yeah, and that's basically what it is. It's the same, it's bubblegum music. It's the same, or popcorn music. It's the same thing, just done slightly differently over and over again. Because music has become, not all of it, but generally it's become something to make money. And it's just like, as soon as you've made a piece of music and put it out, you're making another piece of music and putting it out. It's become a factory. It's no longer something. And so, for instance, you'll never see Rush 20. You never see, say, Bohemian Rhapsody. You never see anything like that again. You never see anything like Rush 2112. You never see anything like The Wall, the whole album again, because people no longer have the attention span. but also you haven't got the tangibility of having an album where you're constricted. So you have that constriction, so you have to be creative. So you have to make it where, oh wow, let's listen to Rush 2112 again, 'cause it's amazing, because it's amazing. As opposed to, let's pull out that Oopty 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 song and just play that over and over again. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm going with this. And it's been what? Oh, it's an hour now, so no one's going to listen to this. But this is for me anyway. So just to recap, if I remember rightly, um, I don't remember. I think that's something major. But pain, I think, was something. And my cat, so that was mentioned. And tangibility. And I honestly don't know. You see, now I've recorded this, then, you know, I can play it over and over again. And because I need to remember all this, and that's the thing. I, I feel strongly that I've got to remember this, and I'm terrified that I'm going to forget. And that part of what happened after the incident is that I no longer have a closed off tap or faucet, as far as my memory is concerned, that I can open it up and let bits out, that is totally open. That anything that I try to remember, like a sieve, is just going to pour straight out. And that's terrifying, because it's like, how far will it go? Now, at the moment, I'm forgetting what I'm saying now. What happens if I forget my entire self? And again, I don't think I've got is it Alzheimer's, or I think it's Alzheimer's, isn't it? Parkinson's the one where you shake. Alzheimer's the one where you forgot. I don't think I've got that, because I'm not even old enough for that kind of stuff. And again, the MRIs and CAT scans and that kind of stuff didn't. It showed nothing like that. So as far as that kind of stuff is concerned, I haven't got that kind of stuff. It's just something happened to me while I was in the hospital, which kind of, if you wish, opened up the faucets, opened up the taps or whatever like that, put everything up to 11 when they should have been, when they were preset to different levels before. So everything is just messed up, and I've got to find a way of kind of bringing it back to the original settings. And that's what's scary, is I don't know if it's getting any worse. That's the thing, because I don't remember, and I remember how I was before, and I remember that I'm totally different now. But I don't know. I don't remember if it's getting any worse or if it's staying the same, because I'm forgetting stuff. But I don't know if I'm forgetting stuff as much as I did, or more or less than I did before, like say a week ago. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's, and the rambling and that kind of stuff, I don't know if it's the same or getting any worse. That's why I'm doing things, that's why I'm recording this. And that's why I'm doing things like playing chess, and recording it, and other stuff like crosswords and stuff like that, because I want to see where it's going. Like another thing I want to do is like pick up my guitar. Again, I've got like that audacity. I remember talking about that earlier, and I use that to play guitar. And that's another thing. For instance, one thing I did, I think it was a month ago, maybe, I don't know. This is why I'm going to start recording this. The thing is, that's why I'm putting it on YouTube, because YouTube, it means it's there. It's somewhere I can pull it up and it's chronological. If I record it on my computer, I'm kind of more likely the way I am. I'll put it in a folder called folder, and then a subfolder called stuff and that kind of stuff, and and then forget where it is, and then it tends to save. I know there's a way of making it chronological, but it tends to save it alphabetically. Whereas with YouTube, it's a destination, it's somewhere to go, and then if I do then I'm also kind of hopefully teaching myself to do things like video-y. So primarily I'll be recording my guitar with a still picture behind it as an example. And then, but with the intention of making some kind of video to go with it or something. But songs, made a set, and it was today was going to be the day where they're going back to you. And I've forgotten the name of the song and I've forgotten the band. Oasis. There we go, Oasis. And I forgot the name of the song. Today we're going to be the day we're going back to you. Wonderwall. There we go. So there was that. There was Golden Brown by the Stranglers. There was, and I almost got both of those down. Then there was America's the name of the band, Horse and the name of the song. I got the chords down, and just simplistically, and I'm trying to learn the lyrics on that. And then there's Loving Spoonful, Coconut Grove, which I got down also. I don't even remember the chords. So, and that's what, a couple of weeks, a month, or something. And so I've got to go back to that again. And Golden Brown was the first single I ever bought, and so I just played it over and over again. That's the only record that I had to listen to, that and the radio. And so I used to know all the words. And now I know Golden Brown takes you like sun. Golden Brown takes like sun. I've forgotten Golden Brown takes like sun. Lays me down with my mind. She runs throughout the night, no need to fight. Never found with Golden Brown. Is that the first verse? You see what I'm saying? And so, and that's scary because I know that I'm not getting any younger and blah, 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 blah. But this is, again, this is why I'm glad that whatever they happened to be in the hospital happened, because it's an on-off switch. All of this happened between me going to the hospital and coming out of it. All of this happened. And so it wasn't progressive. It's night and day, on and off, and so that's why, and I can still remember everything. That's the thing, I can still remember how I was before the incident. So I've got that as a bookmark, and so, but it's just the stuff that's happened afterwards, and I hope it's not progressive. I hope it's not something that's going to get worse. But on that, as I said, I started off, I was totally atrophied, and my entire body was like a bag of jelly. I couldn't move a muscle. And then when through the hospital, I was like that. They had to put me on a tarpaulin to take me to the recovery centre because, again, I was totally atrophied. Before I went to hospital, I could walk. I could cycle. I was totally active. So it wasn't like I was getting weaker. It was before I was in hospital, I was active. After the hospital, I couldn't move. Physically, I couldn't lift a finger. So there's that. And then, but as I say, as far as regression's concerned, I'm getting better because, again, when I first got home, I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't do anything. But now I can stand up. I can walk short distances. And when I'm reaching from a walking frame, I'm stopping myself from doing that. And, small distances. Like, for instance, if I go to the shop, when I first came home, I was buying everything online. But now I'm forcing myself, instead of doing that, actually going to the shop. And I'm using a trolley as a walking frame now. But every few feet I've got to stop and lean, and it's taking me a heck of a lot. Yeah, it's taking a long time to kind of catch my breath. And it's not like out of exhaustion. It's not like I walk a few steps and I'm panting and stuff. It's just my whole body is atrophied. So it's like, I walk a few steps and I feel just exhausted, almost throwing up wise, but not panting and stuff, not racing heart and stuff, just like weak, as if my batteries are on flat or something, whatever. What else? So I don't really, and I don't know if I made any sense. I don't know where I'm going, and that's the thing. I can't communicate properly. I I can't keep. I can't have a direction of speech. I can't have a direct line of flow. I can't talk around about the same subject without flipping, without and not even. I don't even know if it's connected because at the end I don't remember what I was talking about. So I don't know if what I was saying is like a normal conversation where you start, let's say I was talking about a tree, but then I was talking about the branch, and then I was talking about the leaf, and then I was talking about the smell of wood, and then I was talking about wooden furniture. I don't know if it's connected like that, or if it's just pinging around, like a pinging around thing, atoms or electrons or something, and that's one. I'm seeing a picture in my head of something flying around, things flying around in a field of things like electrons or molecules or something, whatever. I don't even know what it is, but it's doing stuff. So I don't know if it's making sense or if it's going all over the place. And that's the worrying thing, because I could be making 100% sense, but I don't know, because I don't know what I've just been talking about. I mean, I know I was. What do I remember? I remember talking about FL Studio. I remember talking about tangibility. I remember talking about Audacity and Adobe CS Suite 6, and which means creative Studio, by the way, and something about photography and stuff. So bullet points are there, but as far as what I actually said, I've no idea or where I was going with it, which is scary. But hopefully, as I say, I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them today, which is bizarre because now I don't have health insurance. I'm trying to get on Medicaid, Medicare, something. But I keep. All I have to do is write him a letter and send it to him. But fear is telling me not to do it. A friend of mine gave me the number of a psychotherapist or a counsellor to talk to, and all I have to do is call them, make an appointment for next month. Fear's stopping me from doing it. I'm scared of doing stuff that's going to make me better, or might make me better, or put me in a better situation. Because if I don't have Medicare, Medicaid, it costs me $165 just to see a doctor, never mind a specialist, and I don't want to be put into debt. And everyone's telling me that, and I'm not. It's not that I want to be a mooch, because I don't want to be a mooch or anything like that. It's not that, and it's all temporary, because again, I want to get fixed and better in a situation where I don't have to be. This is temporary. I don't want to be in this situation, but I need the tools to be able to put me on the track to be better, so I'm not in this situation anymore, which includes the Medicare thingy. Why am I scared of just writing a letter and saying, hey, by the way, what they're either going to say yes or no? It's not as if I'm, I don't know, doing something wrong or doing something illegal or something. All I'm doing is asking if I'm eligible to be helped with the situation at the moment. So there's no fear. It's stupid. I don't know. It's crazy. It really is. But anyway, enough of that. I've got to go to the bathroom anyway. So yeah. So yeah. I think I did a summary already. So whatever. I'm not going to continue talking. I'm going to put this on YouTube now, and so yeah. And then something funny that I do is